Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everyone. My name is Naila Hoirunisa. Today I'm going to explain about upper limb prosthetic, focusing on socket design and casting technique for transradial below elbow, transhumeral above elbow, and disarticulation level like wrist and elbow. We'll look at how stump characteristics influence prosthetic design and discuss suspension method and practical casting tips. We're going to the first topic is understanding amputation level and residual limb. First is transradial below elbow. This is the most common level. Here, the length and quality of the residual forearm impact rotation, pronation or supination, and elbow motion. For example, longer stump retain more rotation up to 100 until 120 degree, while very short stump have significant limitations. Next, transhumeral above elbow. The amputation is at or above the elbow, with challenge increasing the higher the cut. The distal third of the humerus offers some control, but proximal amputation makes suspension and rotation more difficult. Next, disarticulation. This includes wrist disarticulation at the wrist joint and elbow disarticulation. They offer unique prosthetic fitting challenge due to anatomical and soft tissue consideration. Understanding this level of help us select socket type and casting approach the maximize function and comfort by matching patient anatomy and activity level. Next topic is socket design principle. First is transradial socket. Common design include block fit, northwestern, western, and start condyle supraolecranon socket. The choice depends on stump length and patient needs. For block fit is simple but less suspensive. Northwestern is self-suspending and often used with myoelectric device. Moisture work well for very short stump but may limit elbow motion. And then start condyle supraolecranon is provide excellent suspension and stability. Next, transhumeral socket. Design can be over shoulder or elbow acromion. Over shoulder socket extend above the shoulder to incorporate suspension, reducing harness force, and ideal for short stump. Below acromion design rely more on harness suspension and allow greater shoulder range of motion by being less stable. Total contact and suction socket aim to maximize comfort and suspension. Next, disarticulation socket. Wrist disarticulation socket are customized to accommodate the bulbous and flat distal limb shape, paying special attention to styloid process to ensure good fit and suspension. About this articulation socket, often use streamline that leverage the epicondyle for rotational control and suspension, sometimes integrating external locking joint. Each design is truthfully trimmed and contoured to distribute pressure evenly, enhance suspension, and allow motion where needed. Next topic is casting technique and key landmark. First is transradial casting. The forearm is positioned in about 90-degree elbow flexion with neutral pronation or supination during casting. Key landmark include medial and lateral epicondyle, olecranon, and end of the radiole and ulna. Technique often involve multiple plaster slabs to capture detailed limb contour. Negative casts are carefully checked for trimline and coverage. Next, transhumeral casting. Here the shoulder must be positioned to stabilize the stump. The axilla is supported by slab during casting to prevent socket rotation. Landmarks include acromion clavicle, scapular spine, and humeral epicondyle. Over-shoulder casting include forming wings around the shoulder for suspension. Below acromion casting focus on limb coverage without impending motion. The final cast is meticulously trimmed on ensure comfort and function, managing pressure area like pectoralis major muscle and humeral head. Next is disarticulation casting. Wrist disarticulation required shaping the cast to accommodate the natural bulbous distal end after flattening the distal limb forfeit. Theloid processes are carefully managed to prevent discomfort or cast removal issue. Elbow disarticulation may involve external or internal joint locking mechanism. Casting must ensure epicondyle are sufficiently prominent and rotational control and suspension. For the additional tips include using cut-off tube for facilitate easier cast removal and paying close attention to volume fluctuation, especially for transhumeral level, which pose donning challenge. And next is the last topic. There is suspension and functional consideration. First, external suspension typically use harness system, especially for heavier or body-powered prosthesis. This is common for transhumeral level and wrist disarticulation. Next, self-suspension method, such as Northwestern and Western socket, rely on anatomical flares and trimline designed to lock the prosthesis onto the residual limb. To less restrictive, this may reduce range of motion to be uncomfortable if not carefully fitted. Next, suction suspension involves creating a close fit and sometimes using liner. It prove to control but can be difficult to drowning, especially with limb volume change, and the less force wrist and elbow disarticulation. Suspension often incorporate locking elbow unit and strap that maintain prosthesis position while allowing joint function. Okay guys, there is explain from me about upper limb prosthetic, focusing on socket design and casting technique for transradial, transhumeral, and disarticulation lever like wrist and elbow from me. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.